Welcome to The Reel with Jamantha. I'm Jamantha Williams Watson. Today we have an enormously wonderful, caring individual. He is a pastor, he's a preacher, and he's a community activist, none other than Elder Larry C. Miles. Welcome, Elder Miles, to the show.
Well, thank you, Jamantha. It is my pleasure to be here.
Yes, absolutely. It's our pleasure to have you. I wanted to have you here because you just are all of those wonderful things, and you are just a caring soul, and you are the go-to person, I would say, not just in my family, but in a lot of families. Your personality as a preacher supersedes many. And I say that in terms of your desire to help people, not just within the church, but within the community as well. Share with us a little bit how your start, your call into the ministry began. I know it began, but long before you were here, your mom and her belly. But also, our world is just dying of thirsting for spiritual comfort, emotional, we're in emotional despair. And we need to hear the words of wisdom. So whatever you'd like to share with us today.
Well, ministry started, as you can say, Mom had a dream while she was pregnant with me. She says that she told me about me ministering, which she never told me until after I acknowledged the call to ministry. That call came at the age of 10. My ministry license was given to me in the Church of God in Christ at the age of 11. So ministry has been my entire life. All through elementary school, middle school, high school, college. It is my life, and I have always believed that the church is the pillar of the community. My mother and my father gave me some wonderful, great work ethics, and mother has always told me to be kind to people. So it's a biblical principle that we have, and in knowing your father, one of the things that he says on that voicemail about being aware of the struggles of our people, I take that very, very personal, because in the Black community, there is a chronic need of educating our people to empower them with knowledge to make a difference and better our own life. There is enough in the African American community, Black community, whatever we really want to call it, there's enough in it to sustain us and to advance us. We are a superior race, and a lot of people don't understand that we are descendants of kings and queens, and we have our biblical place even in the Bible, in its record, and a lot of people just don't understand that we excel in anything that we get involved in, anything we attach to, we excel and become superior at it. The problem is we don't have enough people / churches, preachers, teachers, professors educating us as a people on how great we are. We've always had to fight with the put down, you cannot do it, you're never going to achieve that, you can't go to that particular school, instead of the encouragement. Well, the difference there, the reason why I am so community minded, my mother told me that I could be anything that I wanted. My mother told me that the Lord would use me greatly. And so my love for people is so genuine, I would rather put people first and put me last, or not even include me in the equation, just to make sure that I fulfill God's mission for my life. I'm born to serve. I enjoy serving. Nothing gives me a greater satisfaction than serving people, serving God's creation to help educate people. There are so many needs. We can just pick one. It will keep us busy, active, and productive in a positive way for the rest of our lives, because there are so many needs in the Black community. And I'm just excited. One of the things that I used to say all the time, why would God choose me? as mischievous as I was, coming up, being born in the East End and being raised in Highland Park, why would the Lord choose me to make a difference? But that's his business. I chose to accept the call, so now I'm responsible for being the best that I am created to be. Someone sent me a text last week. I believe the text said, this generation needs you to be who you were created to be. Yeah. Whoever God created you to be, this generation needs you to be the best at that. And we have too many people that are trying to acquire attributes from other individuals, and that's fine. But to duplicate another individual is to lose my own personal identity. And I don't want to be a victim of identity theft, self-inflicted. So I choose to be a genuine me, making a difference, a positive difference in the lives of those that I come in contact with. It is my joy. I mean, it is genuinely my joy. I would rather serve man, God's creation, than sleep and eat. That's just my personal thing.
It seems like it is. I mean, we see you in hospitals, and someone's sick or someone needs cheering up. You're always there, and you're there 24 hours, 7 days a week. You really are. You are just willing always to say yes, and that's just amazing. Your personality is that just beautiful. And yes, we appreciate that. One thing I know, we live in a world whereas, you cannot turn on CNN, you can't open your phone to an app or to anything on the internet without hearing something bad, some bad news. One thing that I did learn at an early age is that bad things happen to good people.
True.
Good things happen to bad people.
True.
It may not seem like it's fair either way, And when we live with this, we realize, and we sit back sometimes and contemplate how this happens, how atrocities happen to us. We wonder sometimes, is there really a God? How can there be a God in this universe who allows these types of things to happen? Tsunamis and cancer and babies dying and miscarriages and just name, just people killing their children and just senseless acts of violence or, just anything. How do you explain to our audience, or how can we comfort our audience in that, yes, there is a God, there is a higher power, there's a higher being?
Okay. I had this conversation in 1975 at BCU because people wanted to know, how could a God so good and great allow so many catastrophes? Creation is what it is. When the hot weather mixes with warm weather, it can produce this precipitation called snow. So I have come to the conclusion that our lives are the result of choices. Now, I cannot pass the traffic on 64 West, and I'll use the term in between Goochland and Charlottesville, it is all 64. There is no traffic from Interstate 95 I'm going to come in contact with. So whatever choices I make, I will come in contact on that particular journey with other individuals who have chosen, because that's how we're going to connect. We are free moral agents created by God to choose, whether it's right or wrong. We have the right to choose it, and it's right to us. What I say is that God didn't make it happen. God allowed it to happen because of my choice. And a lot of people do not understand positive thoughts, positive words, positive action gets positive results. That doesn't mean it doesn't get attacked by negativity. As a matter of fact, I use this analogy in church and workshop. Outside is a car. In the car is a battery. It has a positive pole and a negative pole. Take the negative pole loose. It will not run on just the positive pole. Even though we may be very positive people, it takes the negativity of life to fuel our positivity to help make positive difference. Nothing happens in the earth, in this world, without God's allowing it. But then the scripture says, it works together for our good. So when I trust the Lord for the outcome of my decision, I may not understand the process, but I have to trust him that it will work out for my good, a good that I do not understand, a good that I cannot foresee. But what I do believe is that when God makes that promise, that all things are going to work together for the good to them that love the Lord, who are called according to his purpose, then everything being predestined, everything being predetermined, now is going to connect with my choices. Example. In the Bible, it talks about Joseph. Mm-hmm. Joseph had a dream of his brothers serving him. Okay, they get upset. When he tells them the dream, it activated the dream to become a reality. Because once he told them, they get upset, they sell him into slavery. The man Potiphar takes him over there to Egypt. So in Egypt is where the dream is going to come to pass. Now, none of them knew this. Joseph only saw the end result. So a lot of times what I share with people, trust the process. Trust the process for your progress and leave the outcome up to God. Why? Because he knows what we don't know. He sees what we cannot see. So if I trust him, even when his answer is different than my request, I still trust him that it's going to work together for my good. So when I look at the conditions of the world, is it God's fault or is it negligence on a person in their decision-making process? I am where I am because of choices. School is a choice. Housing is a choice. I cannot decide or determine or do anything about the parents that I was born to. I cannot do anything about the way that they reared me, but I can do something about me being an adult. If I don't like the way I was raised, mistreated, abused, misused, whatever, okay, that's fine. It scarred me. So what am I going to do about it? I can't go back into my past and undo it. I cannot go back and redo it. But what I can do is make choices to make sure that it does not happen again. That's not the only thing I can do. I can also make sure that I become a community activist so that I can make sure that somebody else does not suffer the same thing that I suffer. If I was raised, for an example, if I was raised as a child without a father in the house, and I knew how that felt, I knew how I was devastated, then I got to make sure that I don't repeat that. Then I got to make sure that other men in my circle of influence don't repeat that. If I don't like the black on black crime that did not just start in our generation, it started way before the slaves got to America, then my responsibility is to educate our people, and you don't have to do this. I don't believe in generational curses. People often talked about the Kennedys and various dynasties, family dynasties. Was it a curse or was it the result of a habit that the children did what the parents did and the parents did what their parents did and what have you? So if I want things to be better for me, I have to start with better thoughts, better words, better action will get me better results. Does it mean that I won't have opposition? Absolutely not. Opposition is everywhere. If I choose to do good, bad is going to oppose it. If I choose to do wrong, right is going to oppose it. I now have the responsibility of pursuing the dream and sticking with the course, weathering the storms. Every day is not going to be sunshine. There will be some rain. There will be some sleet. There will be some snow. And we can take those elements of the weather and apply them to life. There will be some financial storm. There will be some physical, emotional, spiritual storms. But I have the power to determine how I'm going to react or respond. A lot of people react. Why not respond? You said you got up out of the bed on the wrong side. Well, if it was that simple, I'd just get back in that same bed and get up on the other side. So now let me change my mindset because I'm on my way to work. Okay, if I'm on my way to work and I have a flat tire, I jump out because I left early enough to handle these mishaps. So now I get out, I change my flat tire. Well, I'm on my way to work. I forgot that I didn't put gas in the car the night before. So now I run out of gas a mile away from work. Okay, so somebody's coming along. they bring me my gas. I got 15 minutes to get into the office to be on time. I have an accident right outside the parking lot. Now, with all of that, I can choose, I'm going back home. It is too much negativity happening in one day, or I can choose to say, you know what, I got this. Negativity is not going to destroy me. I will allow the negativity to fuel my positivity so that I can make a positive difference in life, and not only in my life, but those that I come in contact with, because I'm not going to be stopped by adversity or opposition. I'm going to prove to the adversity and the opposition that the God in me is greater than what's attacking and opposing me, and I was born to make a difference, and nobody can make that difference for me, because when it all boils down, the sun go down and the dust clears up, at the end of the day, what did I do with the power that God gave me to make a positive difference in the world that I live in? So I can see all of this negativity happening around me. If money is the answer, then let me create money and go and make a difference. Let me send some money there to make a difference. But it's much deeper than just, is there really a God? Is there really a believer? Do I really believe in what I refer to as God? Do I really believe it? And a lot of people don't get involved. Religion has been the order of the day for generations. But it's really not about religion. It's about relationships. And so if I have a relationship with what I define as God, the higher power, then my relationship with Him is supposed to determine the actions, the activities of my life, my attitude, because there's two things, and I may be wrong, but we're on the real. So I may be wrong, but there are two things that I believe every person on earth has total control over: our attitude and our actions. Nobody can determine my attitude but me. Nobody can define my actions but me. So will I react or will I respond? I choose to respond, because I choose not to allow anything to have more power over me than me. And my God.
Very well stated. I think that you're very different.
Okay.
Okay, I want to say that in a very nice way, but you are. And I don't know. You've said so much just now, and that allows me to understand a little bit about how you're able to just allow things to roll off. Things happen and you just brush it off. And you tell us to do that too, your parishioners. How important was that? Your mom did something that was just phenomenal. She told me before she passed away that for 9 months she didn't eat when she was carrying you. And I said, what? Well, I didn't hear you correctly. And she said, yes, you did.
Yeah.
So you are the child that I guess you were preaching when you were a little boy, and when you were a little baby. You've been preaching, holding the Bible in your hand, and you really do mean it. And I really do mean that. You're not just saying these words, you really do live by them. And we see that you get punched like the rest of us, but you get punched in the face and you're walking away and you get up and you stand up and then somebody knocks you down with but you keep coming back and you keep doing the very best you can. I know maybe it's your parents, your family. What do you think? How do you attest to all of that?
Well, my father had a third grade education, and his work ethics were impeccable. Okay. Daddy was going to work full-time jobs, 3 part-time jobs to make sure that there was a roof over our head, bills were paid, and the food on the table. Mom had an 8th grade education, a wonderful entrepreneur. She started and ran 7 different businesses, and she instilled in me, on top of Daddy's work ethic, Mother instilled in me that I was greatness to be developed, and that I could be absolutely anything that I wanted. And I call it the birthright fast that you mentioned about Mom. Mom would fast for those 9 months once she found out she was pregnant with me, discouraged, because she already had 6 kids, and she really didn't want any more. But she began fasting, so she would fast 2 days, absolute nothing. That was the Pentecostal way. She would come off and eat 1 day, and then she would go back, and then she would do 3 days, absolute. Well, in the process of that, you've heard it, we are what we eat.
Right.
So she's eating all of this spiritual food during these 9 months for this particular child. So I came out in the natural, I came out to be her largest child. I was 10 pounds and 5 ounces. I don't know how that happened. But at the same time, I believe that I embrace my purpose early in life. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to teach. I acknowledge it at an early age. As a matter of fact, when I acknowledged it at age 10 in 1966, my pastor told me, he said, well, go back and pray again and make sure that the Lord is talking to you. And I went away and came back in 5 minutes. I said, I heard him. He was telling me the truth. You know? And so my job there started early, and it is not all that I know, but it is my purpose. Everything else centers around it. We cannot fulfill destiny until we connect to the Creator. You will not take a Rolls Royce to a bicycle mechanic. You got to take it back to the dealer, to the Creator, to the manufacturer. So I got to put me back in the Lord's hand. I got to get in the Lord's face to find out, why did you create me? I know all of this adversity is real. Yes, I'm going to let it roll off my back, because if I deal with it from the flesh perspective, I get a charge. So I let the Lord deal with it. Ain't nobody who can compete with him. So, you know, my objective in life is to be biblically correct, scripturally sound, and spiritually focused. So I am not going to disqualify myself from fulfilling my destiny by getting into a verbal, physical, mental, spiritual, financial, physical altercation with you that has nothing to do with my destiny. So why even get involved in it? Let it go. I mean, I can't stop you from saying what you're saying, but I can determine how it does affect me. Right. You know the old saying, sticks and stones they break my bones, the words will never harm me. Well, words can if you allow them. But you know, I'm my mother's child. I'm biblically correct, and I believe this. You can talk about me all you want. Do not put your hands on me. Mm-hmm. Don't put your hands on me, because depending on the state of mind that the preacher is in on that particular day, you may activate my gift of laying on hands, and I may cast the devil out you. But that's a whole other conversation, you know. But that's on the real side, you know. And a lot of people think that preachers do not get upset. They think that preachers don't have problems. They think that preachers don't make mistakes. That's not the truth. We make mistakes. We have feelings. We get hurt. We get slowed down. We are held hostage by various things if we choose to allow ourselves. I just choose not to allow anybody to have that kind of power over me, because if I choose to let you control me, control my action, then that says that you're either smarter than me, stronger than me, or better than me. And my mama said, ain't nobody better than you, son. They may be better off. And so I carry myself. I'm not better than anybody. I consider myself better off because of my choices. And I just want to teach people, make better choices. Don't give up. Don't give in. I'll say this and let this part go. It is never too late. Never ever too late to change for the better and get more out of life. Particular date, December the 10th, 1914, in New Jersey, Thomas Edison's warehouse. All of his products catches on fire. He loses about 90% of his product. The news reporter and the employee said, Mr. Edison, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? He said, well, I'm over 64 years old. We'll start over tomorrow. And that's my attitude. If I have a setback, tomorrow's a brand new day. I can't undo that, but I can make sure going forward, I'm more positive, I am more prepared, I am more productive. It is what it is. You know? So if God allows it, who am I to change it? That's right. You know, right. Job was a pawn in his hand. He allowed it, but he also rewarded it. So I might as well stick around for the reward.
That's right. Amen. You know, one thing that I'm very impressed with you as a pastor, along with your personality and your bubbly spirit, is the fact that you really are a community-based church. You're right on the corner of 3001 2nd Avenue in Richmond, Virginia, and you really do, when you say, you know, we're community, the community does come to you. You know, they'll come with food drives, all types of clothing drives, all types of things. Tell us a little bit about that here.
Well, we like to say that First United Cathedral is a church in the hood, partnering with others to do some good.
Okay.
Literally, not put down on the community at all. We're available. We have substance abuse ministries. We have the feeding ministry, the clothing ministry. We have the seniors ministry. We have the youth ministry, children's ministry, and it is all for the betterment of people, to empower people, to enrich their lives, to use their influence to effectively impact the lives of others. That's what this church is really, really all about. We're here to make a positive difference in this community. This is why I believe the Lord planted us here. As I often say, my brothers and sisters in drugs and crime and doing some of everything, they tore up the streets, dirtied up the streets. My job is to clean back up. And so I'm loving the assignment. I love being a servant of the Lord and serving the people of God. I love giving people options. As a matter of fact, I deputize myself. I'm the option giver and the excuse eliminator right here in Highland Park. We're the church in the hood, partnering with other folk trying to do some good. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. Well, we really do appreciate that. I remember one young man, he collected clothes from the church, and he was so elated. He said, "When are you all going to do that again?" So we do it quite often,
Yes.
throughout the year, and outside, and there are hot dogs and hamburgers
Spaghetti,
and everything that you
dinners.
have.
We're loving it. We love feeding, and we're going to be doing that again in a couple of weeks. Right there, the first part of March, we're going to be feeding again. We're going to be doing another clothes giveaway. We also give away stuff every Wednesday, right at the end of Bible study.
Okay.
Just go over there, get all the meat you want, just take it with you. It doesn't cost you a dime.
Right.
Only thing it costs you is the energy to pick it up and take it out.
Amen. That's beautiful. What a wonderful ministry you're doing, and what a marvelous person. Your parents have done a fabulous job, and I know that you do know that. Thank you so much for being here.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. And thank you for joining us here on The Reel with Jamantha. I'm Jamantha Williams Watson. Remember, you are a masterpiece, designed and created by God Almighty. Now, change your mind, and you'll change your world. Thank you so much for watching The Reel with Jamantha. Check us out next time, right here on this station. See you then.